So Michigan is officially the national champions. Jim Harbaugh got his national title with Michigan, turned that organization around. First time in 26 years, finished the season 15-0. And this was huge. This is huge for Jim. This is huge for, obviously, Michigan and Michigan fans. What a great game, right? Michigan really kind of pulled it away towards that last 5 minutes of the game or whatever. It looked like Michigan was going to just completely dominate that game. Washington just looked completely overwhelmed and outmatched early on. And yet Washington stuck with it, hung around, and looked at times like, oh man, this could really go either way. Michigan's offense really stalled. And then ultimately you just saw that big play that ended up leading to a touchdown. And then that pick that was almost pick six, ended up just kind of sealing the game, and it was over at that point. There was 3 minutes left in the game or whatever. But again, huge win for Michigan, but bigger win for Jim Harbaugh, right? And to me, he's gone. I think there was a part of me that thought if he lost in the national title, right, that maybe he stays another year in Michigan to try to go and win it, right? And looks at it as man, I was right there. I want to win it, right? That allure of I don't want to have that what if, right? Obviously money talks, and I'm sure he wants to be in the NFL. And I think regardless, he was going to end up in the NFL at some point, right? You're hearing the Raiders, you're hearing the Chargers. I'm sure some other teams will come out of the woodworks and be interested in Jim. He's had success at both the NFL level, NCAA level, obviously not this level that he just accomplished yesterday, but still, he is a guy that is known as a winner and can really turn around some organizations, right? But I really could have seen him saying, let me stick it out one more year in Michigan, because he wanted to win that national title. Also in Michigan, he's hailed as a king there. The guy is living his best life there. But I fully believe that now you got the national title. You proved it, right? You won. You showed that you are him, that you are that guy, right? You won the national title. So now you don't have that oh man, what if I stuck it out one more year? Could I have done it? Could I have got it? Well, now you got it. Now there is no more questions. You proved all you needed to prove at that level. So now it's let's move back up to go into, hey, let's go win a Super Bowl. Let's go turn an organization. Let's go turn a franchise around. Now, look, obviously, Vegas, whether it's the Raiders, right? I'm somebody that lives in Vegas, so it'd be cool to see Jim kind of at the helm of the Raiders. Personally, I don't see that. I think he stays in California. I think he goes to the Chargers. I think the allure of coaching Herbert is just too high. The Chargers would be the perfect situation for him to just come in and immediately right that ship. On top of that, it's just they're going to give him the Belichick treatment, right? He's going to get to come in. He's going to have full control over everything. He's going to go and he's going to draft all of his guys from Michigan. He's going to, revamp that O-line. He's going to, go get the CBs. He's going to do the things that are needed that should have already been done for the Chargers that they just continue to fail to do. Jim is not going to go to the Chargers to not have full and utter control of that organization and get to make all the decisions as well as head coach, right? Because if Chargers don't, then he will go to Raiders, because the Raiders will. The Raiders will be like, all right, here, you can do whatever you want, right? Just to have him in that building and be able to kind of hopefully turn the Raiders around. But I just think the one edge that the Chargers have is, one, he gets to be in California, and two, more than anything, is he has a top quarterback in the league immediately. And he has very good quality pieces. The Chargers on paper are one of the top 5 teams in the league. Chargers are stacked, right? They just are bad in certain important areas, right? So I think Jim is going to look at that and just go, man, I go to the Chargers, right? I can kind of do what I did in Michigan. I can have full control. I can kind of build the roster to my liking. I got a superstar quarterback who's one of the best talents in the league at that position, right? Got nice pieces already established. I just need to kind of fill in the gaps and trim around the edges, right? And all of a sudden I could be, competing for Super Bowls in like a year or two. That's kind of what I think will happen. I also think that Jim, like, some people are saying like, oh, will it happen within like a week, or like how soon until he's an NFL head coach? I could see him kind of marinating a little bit, right? Enjoy the national title. I think he takes, a couple weeks, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if by like the end of the month, he's signed to the Chargers and he's the Chargers head coach, right? I wouldn't be shocked if in like a week or so we get the report that like, hey, he's headed to the Chargers, but it's not official. It's like that insider that's like, oh, somebody, familiar with the situation says that whole thing. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens in like a week or so. But I think ultimately, like, yeah, could he go to the Raiders? Sure. I think the gig with the Chargers is just too much for him to pass up. Right? I just think that's the best place for him. If he turns that franchise around, I mean, he's going to be hailed as a king like he is with Michigan. I look at that and just go, that's the place he needs to be. That's where he should end up. That's where he needs to go. Go to the Chargers, go be Justin Herbert, right? Go turn that franchise around, go compete and try to win a Super Bowl. If you win a Super Bowl, I mean, now you've done it all. Now you're going to go down as one of the greatest coaches ever on both levels, right? Like, to me, it's just the Chargers. The Chargers is his ticket to just legend status, right? The Chargers are his ticket to just being an icon in the history books forever, right? You got the Michigan. Now you go do the thing with the Chargers, and you're forever cemented at that point. And I just think the Chargers have more like just frontline talent that I don't think he would need a change. I think it's clear and obvious what the Chargers need, what needs to be changed and how it needs to be changed. And I just think I don't think that that'll be as challenging as like if you go to the Raiders, you can make an argument that you basically need to get rid of and start from scratch. Like trade Adams, get rid of Garoppolo somehow, like just basically hit the reset button and just completely start from scratch. I think there's a real argument for that, right? Where the Chargers, I think you could just walk in. Chargers are closer to turnkey. It's probably the best way to put it, right? You can walk in and immediately just like, okay, like let's go, right? We need A, B, C, and D, and now we're competing for championships or Super Bowls, right? That's what I think. But I think ultimately Jim Harbaugh is headed to the Chargers. Congratulations to him and Michigan on winning the national title. What an amazing season, amazing run. I mean, to me, it was predictable. I mean, they were clearly the best team all year. The defensive side of things was ridiculous, right? I didn't have a doubt personally that they were going to win it. I mean, you never know, right? You don't. But I just when they got to the playoffs, it was like, all right, like who's beating them, right? The only team that I saw that maybe had a chance to beat them that was in the Final Four was Alabama, and then when they beat Alabama, I was like, all right, nobody's beating them, right? So it's an accomplishment. It's amazing that he was able to do that, right? And he was able to do that right before all the NFL rumors, right? To where now he doesn't have to dwell on it. He can just, hey, I did it. Time to move on, right? And he can kind of focus on the next step in his career, the next step in his journey. I do. I think also this being the last playoffs in this format, where now we go and extend to the 8 new teams and all that stuff. So I do. I think that this was great for Jim. This was great for the Chargers. I think the Chargers are one of the real winners in this too. And look, I could be completely wrong. I don't know Jim. I'm not an insider. I'm just a guy Not a fan of the Chargers. I'm not a fan of the Raiders. I'm not a fan of. I mean, I live in Vegas, so I will root for the Raiders, but like I could care less. I don't have a dog in this fight. I just see what I see and just go, hey, like this information looks like, there's a big sign outside that says Chargers, and so I'm gonna trust the sign is kind of what it is. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think he's headed to the Chargers? Do you think he's not? What do you think he does? Where do you think he goes? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you like this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.